Today we'll be tackling hot topic issues in the airsoft community such as clickbaity titles, HPA cheaters, as well as some more personal stuff like how has college affected your airsoft life, video games and airsoft and their relation, and more. So make sure to stay tuned for the entirety of today's Q&A, where I actually have a question for you guys at the end. What's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane, and welcome back to the BB Warrior. We're here to help you have a better time both on and off the airsoft field. And if you enjoy videos like these, we'd love it if you joined our community by hitting that subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, make sure to hit that bell icon next to it for updates when we post brand new videos every single Friday here on the channel. And before we get into our first question, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who did submit questions. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but why don't we dive right in with one of the more controversial ones, which is actually about clickbait and YouTube. Caesar Airsoft asks, wow, I probably pronounced that wrong, I apologize. Hey BB Warrior, I've been watching your videos for a long time, and I was wondering what your opinion on clickbait thumbnails and titles being used throughout the airsoft community was. So this is a tricky one to answer, because as a content creator, I understand why people use clickbait. It works. It works really, really well, and it's a great way to get your content out there, because if you think about it, that's what entices people to watch your videos. And if people are watching your videos, they're more likely to watch more and then subscribe, then buy merchandise if that's your thing here on YouTube. And if the difference between being homeless or not is how good your titles and thumbnails draw people in, well, wouldn't you want to create the most enticing title and thumbnail that you possibly could? So I think that clickbait is necessary as an online content creator and someone that wants to pursue this industry as my career. Content creation, not necessarily airsoft. The thing that I think that is okay is clickbait that delivers on the promise, or it's just kind of out there. So like videos that are like, you know, like best airsoft montage ever, 5 exclamation points. Like, yeah, it's your channel, do whatever you want. Or like Novrich does clickbait really well, in my opinion. I think that he does it in a way that really delivers on what it's going to be. If he's clickbaiting something in the title and thumbnail, it happens in the video. And it's better than just saying like, oh, airsoft sniper compilation. How many views is that going to pull in? I think where clickbait kind of becomes a problem, and again, this is solely my opinion, is when your video shows airsoft in a negative light. I think that's where I really start to see the issues, and I'm sure that everyone has seen it. Videos like airsoft cheater tries to fight me in the parking lot, or a little kid gets lit up by 50 rounds a second. I think that stuff that really kind of puts airsoft in a negative light is where I draw the line, because like I've accepted that there will be clickbait on the internet until the internet goes away or I die. And it's going to go on way past when I live. So I really, that's like the way that I see it is I like to think about it, you know, outside of just myself and my own personal success on YouTube. A lot of people really enjoy airsoft, and if airsoft is portrayed in a negative light, say, you know, it is banned somewhere, or like some little kid trying to get into airsoft and their parents Google it and the first thing they see is some guy like lighting up a little kid, they're not going to want their kid to be able to play in this amazing game, an amazing hobby. So like I always try to put the entire community before myself, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to sound all self-righteous. I just think that like I don't want to ruin it for other people. So I think that there's a fine line, and this is just totally my opinion. I want to know your guys' opinion down in the comments below. I think that some of it's okay. However, I just really, if I had to boil it down, I just have a problem with people that try to use controversy to get views on YouTube. It works. I mean, don't get me wrong. They have really successful YouTube channels, but like my message to them would be like, think about what you're doing for the hobby as a whole, in all honesty. I'm not saying this about anyone in particular because there's a lot of content creators that do it, but yeah, that's just my opinion on it. Now let's do a little bit happier question. SpeedQRe asks, I love that username by the way, you have mentioned in the past that you have a camo collection. What is your favorite or most unique pattern that you have? Honestly, my favorite is probably AOR2. I don't have very much AOR2 at the moment. The only thing I have is a Patagonia field top, but AOR2 is starting to get pretty affordable. I mean, especially if you go with Patagonia, it's cheaper than Crye. The most unique piece that I have, you know, I've been downsizing a lot since I started college, just because, you know, I need money for food and going to Airsoft or my MTW, stuff like that. I would say that the most unique thing I have actually isn't a uniform. It's actually a chest rig. My Mark II was issued by the FSB. I think that's the coolest piece that I have. I think that like there's some stuff that I like to collect because like I live in a very anti-gun state, so like collecting firearms isn't something I can necessarily do here. So I like to collect like equipment and stuff like that, and like uniforms. That's the type of the thing that I've always been interested in. So there's like a lot of uniforms that I own that aren't even in my size because they were kind of rare, but I've started to phase it out as I get into college. You know, hopefully one day I will start to, you know, collect that thing again. But yeah, I think it's like my AOR2 uniform, or like my Russian Sumrak suit. I just think that they're kind of neat. The Russian suits are a whole lot different than what you find here in the United States. Kind of underwhelming collection right now. Eventually I will do a full video, but yeah, if I had to take a guess, that'd probably be it. ASOG308 asks, what is the ultimate meme gun? Oh boy, sleeper guns, in my opinion. Like when you take like a clear crossman and you throw like a DSG in there or something like that. Like something that like no one will be able to tell that it's like a really good gun. And like, I think Jet did a video on this like 3 or 4 years ago where they took like a see-through M4 and they put like a whole like Promi barrel setup, an Umbrella Armory gearbox in there way before Umbrella Armories was like super popular. But yeah, I think like the best meme gun, God, I can't believe that I've said that combination of words multiple times. Yeah, probably sleeper guns, in my opinion. I think that'd be really funny to use, to show up to a field in like sweatpants and a hoodie. Like, go to a field that I've never been to before, and people were like, oh my god, this guy's a scrub, and then just dominate with a gun that shoots, like, consistently 350, shooting out to, like, 200 plus feet. I think that would just be the ultimate meme gun, I guess you could say. William asks, have you been able to go to the field as often as you used to now that you're in school? Actually, yes and no. So, like, I was kind of playing infrequently to begin with in this summer because, like, when I accepted that I wanted to go to college, I was like, wow, I really need to start saving money so that I can, like, buy food and, like, pay rent and buy more airsoft crap. So I'm playing about, like, once every 2 to 3 weeks, which was kind of where I was to begin with. I will say that I have played less purely because I actually hosted an airsoft game. Excuse me, and I didn't play for a second. Huge thanks to everyone who went out to the Crimean Confrontation, by the way. I had a blast doing just referee stuff. So, like, surprisingly, no, not at all. I am, like, at the threshold for full-time student, so, like, I'm not super overwhelmed. I'm not at college 5 days a week. I'm only there 4 days a week, so, like, I can still play airsoft, and it was, like, 15 minutes from my college, so it's not, like, an issue or anything. I don't have to worry about a dormitory, as you guys can obviously tell, but, yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying to play as much as I can. It's starting to get into the winter where I start to play less to begin with, which is part of the reason why I haven't really done much gameplay. I just like to, like, throw it in with other videos. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully, as the next semester comes, I get to play even more than that. But, yeah, it shouldn't be affected. It won't affect the content schedule on here, if that's kind of what people are wondering about. I like to do videos ahead of time so they can be scheduled. So, yeah, you'll never have to worry about, like, videos shortening or videos not coming out because I'm in school or anything like that. But to answer the original question, I'm playing about the same as before I got into college, which is going really well, if anyone cares. Random Guy Kev asks, what's your opinion on the culture and community of airsoft in different parts of the United States? So first off, check out Kevin's channel. He makes great gameplay, personal friend of mine. Just hit that subscribe button. So other than that, going on to the actual question, it's a little hard to say, seeing that I haven't traveled that much. Pretty much the farthest that I've gone is I went to Mississippi to play an airsoft game, but to kind of give you an idea of how I feel about it, I think that like most of the airsoft community is kind of the same no matter where you go. At least in my personal experience. I think that might change if I ever went out to like Southern California to play. I think you'll see a little bit more aggressive play there because that's just how the field is out there. But like at least like everywhere that I've played on the East Coast, it's pretty familiar. It's pretty much either kind of like a medium to slow-paced outdoor or like a more speed-softy indoor or really urban outdoor field. So I don't think that it changes too much. I think that on the East Coast, you tend to see more HPA hate out here. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of the same. I mean, this could be pure ignorance because I haven't played in a bunch of different places in the country. I'd love to see someone like Jet tackle this question because I feel like I don't have enough experience to answer it the best. Hopefully in a few years I can give a way better answer on this. Maybe how airsoft differs from country to country. That's a future video. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's mostly the same here on the East Coast. I think that we're less tolerant towards HPA over here than in Southern California, with the exception of maybe Pittsburgh, because they have people who lead the industry in HPA, like Amped Airsoft, things like that. But yeah, I think that we're all just kind of nerds in the woods playing with toy guns. So kind of bouncing off that question, Spartan45A1 asks, why do people get hated on for having HPA? It is a way superior system, yet all people complain about high rate of fire and trigger response. Especially Speedsofters, if a milsim player has it, no one complains. So I think that you're absolutely right. I think that they're just kind of hating on Speedsofters because there's admittedly a stereotype. Most people, when you say Speedsofters, especially again here on the East Coast, where we're a little bit less tolerant of HPA players, think that like Speedsofters are just trouble. They think that they're going to be shooting way too hot, shooting way too fast, shooting out like 60 rounds per second, I mean by fast. And I think that it's a shame because HPA is fantastic. As someone who's been an AEG guy for like the entire time that I've played this game, one day with the MTW, I've fallen in love. I'm going to keep mentioning that throughout today's video. But like, yeah, I think it's purely that people are just stereotyping HPA users or Speedsofters because you're right. When a milsim player uses it, it's like, oh, who cares? But I think that like they just hate on Speedsofters because they don't dress up like fake soldiers, which I think is hilarious and kind of backwards. But yeah, I mean HPA, in my opinion, HPA is better than upgraded AEGs. Like if you build a nice HPA setup, you're gonna have a fantastic airsoft gun. So I think that it's kind of ignorance as well because they think that they're just gonna be like jerks when they play, and like oftentimes like most of the people that I know that own HPA have like HPA tapped high kappas. So it's like you can't like do as much with a high kappa as you can with like an HPA engine like an Inferno or Polar Star's offerings. I just think that it's a lot of ignorance. I think that people are kind of hesitant towards change in general, and I mean, the guns are better, so they probably assume that they're cheating. Cold Water Regrets asks, do you get attached to guns in video games, and does it influence your airsoft purchases? It does for me. I like to call it the Battlefield effect. Yes. The MPX from Battlefield 4 and from Rainbow Six Siege, I want as an airsoft gun so freaking bad. I don't know what it is. It's just that I enjoy it very heavily in both those games. For anyone who plays Rainbow, I was a Valkyrie main for like the last year or so. I just love the gun. I like that it's like a little sub gun, but it has M4 controls. I know that VFC makes the MCX, which is the 5.56 version. But yeah, I don't know. I just like I get it. Like, I get that a lot. So I'm going to call it the Battlefield effect, too. So thanks for the name. Do you guys get that sort of thing? Make sure to let me know down in the comments. Like, I think it's kind of popular in Airsoft. It's starting to die out now. They were starting to get into, like, World War I, World War II, the future of Black Ops. But, like, I remember, like, 4 years ago, like, a gun would, like, a really popular gun in a video game would be made into an airsoft gun in, like, 8 months after it came out, like the Honey Badgers, the G28s, stuff like that. So I think that it definitely has a place in airsoft. I did a video on this like years ago, probably upwards of 2 years ago. But yeah, I think it's really prevalent in airsoft because people like a gun in a video game and then they buy it. Like I remember we're going really far back to like the Modern Warfare 2 days. Like the Intervention, the ACR became really popular. A bunch of people came out with those. Evike had the M4 from Modern Warfare 2. That just kind of goes to show you how long I've been in this hobby. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely a prevalent thing, especially for me. Like the MPX, like I'm gonna buy that like as soon as it becomes available. I don't know if anyone's making it. I hope that VFC is working on a version because they make the MCX right now. But yeah, I think that the Battlefield effect is totally a real thing. My YouTube channel asks, if you could only have one airsoft pistol, what would it be? High Kappa, like hands down. Like I like Glocks more aesthetically, especially like Roland Special type builds, but a High Kappa has so much upgradability. There's so many aftermarket parts for it. So yeah, I mean like it's not my personal thing, but like yeah, if I only could have one airsoft pistol for like the rest of my hobby life, it's a High Kappa hands down. Plus they're just good airsoft guns as well. The Hellgast for life. Again, I hope I pronounced that right or I'm like missing some pop culture reference. What's your next big gear purchase going to be? Nothing. I just got done with a lot of gear purchases, way more than I probably should have. So in the last month, I've gotten a bunch of stuff I want to do for reviews, so I'm not going to spoil it. The MTW, which is a $500 plus airsoft gun, and I bought a TMC JPC because I haven't run a plate carrier for a while, and there's a lot of videos I'm going to need a plate carrier for. It'll either be the topic or to make my life easier when filming. So I don't really have any big purchases for a very long time. I'm very happy with where my airsoft collection is at the moment. Next thing I'm probably going to buy is going to be the Elite Force MP5 I think it's VFC, I could be wrong, but it's like an MP5K, and no one makes them anymore, and they're limited edition. They're going to be making like 1,000 of them. So I want to pick up that, and that's like probably the last airsoft thing I'll be buying that's under or over $100, probably till the summer. A little depressing to think about. You know, maybe if I sell off a bunch of my stuff on HopUp or something like that, I'll kind of splurge, but yeah, I want to make sure that I can like afford to like go through college and not starve, and you know, be able to put like gas in my car and pay my rent, stuff like that. So that's a little bit more important right now. The final question for today is from Stale Cookie, who asks, what is a better platform for milsim in your opinion, the Mark 18 or the 416? This is a hard one because I own both. I have like my Mark 18, but then I also have a 416 upper that I can swap on my VFC lower. So to answer your question, if you're going for an impression, the Mark 18 is used by a lot more people than the 416, at least in the United States. If you're going to do international kits, the 416 is used by a lot more countries than the Mark 18, which is used by, like, I think exclusively us. Which one I think looks better? I'm going to have to go with 416s. Mark 18s are super overplayed. As someone who owns one, I'll completely own up to that. And I think that with 416s, once you add on like the Remington rails or the Geisley rails, I think that they just look way better than Mark 18s. Because every Mark 18 looks exactly the same. But at least you can do a little bit of flair with 416s. The 416s are heavier, which, you know, for me, I personally like Mark 18s for that specific reason, which is why I run that upper more. But, yeah, I mean, don't start a flame war in the comments with me. Like, get at me if you like Mark 18s. But, yeah, I think that it's, I think it's a fun little question. I think that they're both super overdone. And again, I'm saying this making fun of myself because I own both. But, yeah, I think that they're both pretty basic. I think that they're kind of lame. Kind of like overly Zenet code AKs, I guess you could say, in the Russian world. But, yeah, that was the final question for today's video. Now I have a question for you guys. I want to do these Q&As more. However, I have a question. Would you prefer for them to be live streamed or pre-recorded and edited like today's video? I did a live stream a while back. I got some good feedback on it, but not enough that I like really wanted to like commit to doing it very often. So like if you'd like to see this type of question in like a full-on like live stream, it'll be like this, or you know, maybe I can figure out how to like play video games and talk with you guys, that sort of thing. Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. I take your feedback very, very seriously about anything on the channel. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for staying until the end of today's a little bit longer video, a little bit out there, but I like doing these Q&As every once in a while, so I hope that you enjoyed. If this was your first time on the channel, you know, I'd love it if you joined our community for more educational airsoft videos every single Friday, and you can do that by hitting that subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, hit the bell icon next to it for updates when we post new videos every single Friday on the channel. We do reviews, discussions, every once in a while opinion pieces. I do those every once in a while. But yeah, guys, if you want to help support the channel, visit shop.thebbwarrior.com for merchandise, event tickets when I host my next game, things like that. It really helps me out and allows me to, you know, continue to make these videos for you guys and to bring you, you know, reviews, things like that, because everything, unfortunately, costs money. But yeah, my name's Lane, and thanks for checking out today's Q&A. I'll see you all next time.